So Perry did a dum-dum.
Yep.
And accidentally ended the broadcast instead of just leaving the studio. So apologize about that.
I just figured something crazy was gonna happen, but I didn't think it was gonna come from Perry.
Yeah, I thought of all people it would be me doing that shit. Yeah. He does say he's sorry. Thanks, Perry, for the love. Yes, thanks, Perry. Have fun streaming. So we should probably actually get back to the episode. Because we got so sidetracked. So, yes, I mean, it's Samoa's. So after Nate drives away, they go to this huge ass mansion. And I'm assuming it's probably in like the Beverly Hills area.
Probably.
You know, like the rich.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's knocking at it. Nate asks basically like what this place is. And Harrison's like, well, you know, since Sterling Blow recovers, I had to find a new safe house to lay low. And of course, Sophie's like, this is your idea of laying low? And there's a little piece of irony in that. In the audio commentary, it revealed that this mansion was built in the 1920s by a steel magnate. Which I don't know if you're familiar with like the steel magnates of like the 1920s. You know, obviously, you know, I live in Pittsburgh. You know, I grew up 2 hours away from Pittsburgh. You know, Pittsburgh is Steel City for a reason. And so, but another thing is, steel magnates were most likely corrupt as hell and had monopolies. And basically, that's kind of what started the whole monopoly thing, was the steel industry. Because from steel, you can get into automotive, you can get to construction. Yeah. Lex! Oh my god. Oh my god.
I had to.
I know. Still doesn't mean I like it. Alright, carrying on. So they walk in. Sophie's kind of impressed, actually. What's funny is hers is like, don't break nothing. No, it's like, there's nothing to break. Because basically, it's like bare.
Yeah.
Like, no
Just empty.
furniture, barely, no nothing. So, why do you take over for a sec while I put too much cookie in my mouth?
That happens. Oh, now I want a cookie.
Same.
Okay, so Parker, for some reason, heads into the bathroom.
Really weird.
Because she's asking, like, where are the toilets? Which is a valid question.
Yep. Freaking weird, though. But it's Parker.
Carson's like, if this is an IRS foreclosure, like, I got it for cheap.
Of course.
But Elliot's like, the IRS don't take toilets.
Or do they?
Hardison's like, well, they do if they're gold plated.
Which is true.
It's like I heard this used to be MC Hammer's place. Turns out you can touch this with a SWAT team and a federal warrant. See, this is where we needed the sound effect.
Yes.
Man. Now I miss the sound effects.
I know.
Look, if you buy a coffee on Ko-Fi, Films and Fandoms, you save up enough money, I'll be able to buy a soundboard.
Maybe, just maybe.
So, yeah. And so yeah. Everyone heads into another room. Elliot gives Sophie a dirty look.
He full on like glares at her.
He glares at her, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, how dare you?
Well,
mean.
he's pissed at her.
What? Yeah, but she kind of
They really all are.
Yeah.
She kind of does. I'm sorry, Sophie. I mean, because she
Love
even
you
looks at
on,
Nate.
but yeah, she deserved it.
Like, she even looks at Nate and is like, look, we're a mess. But the way she says it, it's like she's blaming him for the fact that
Yep.
they're a mess. When it is kind of Sophie's fault, because she was the one who lied to him.
Yep.
So Hardison asked, like, how Nate knew they were all going to be. Shit. Like, how Nate knew they were all going to be at the museum. Sorry. And Nate's like, it was the best time to case the place as it's still under construction, and also he chased all of them at one point.
Yeah,
So
he's
he
like,
knew.
He's like, I kind of know you guys because I was hunting you at one point. I know how you think.
Yeah.
And that's borderline kind of creepy.
Yeah. But then Elliot asks, like, is she in on this? And Sophie, obviously knowing he means her, and it's like, she can hear you. All right. So, yeah. Basically, everyone's pissed at Sophie, and they are a bit of a mess. And of course, Hardison's objecting, like, what do you mean this? Like, there is no this.
Yep.
And Parker even argues that, like, Sophie did come back, as Nate kind of walks away looking at the schematics on the table. And Elliot's like,
And that was on purpose. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna let the kids and mom argue. I'm gonna walk away.
yeah, like they need, you know, they're obviously pissy with each other. So they need to, like, let it out
Mm-hmm.
so we can get them to focus again. Of
Yep.
course, Elliot is like, what, like, wouldn't have had to if she wouldn't have lied to you.
Yep.
Of course, Harson's like 3 months. Like, I don't need you people. And as soon as Harson says that, they all start bitching. Because, like, Parker's offended. And Elliot's like, I don't care. You don't con your own crew. But what's interesting though, and Sophie points out that she backed Elliot's play in the 2 horse job. That she says, like, I recall back in your play, actually on a certain horse job. Because Elliot's like, I don't like you don't con your own crew. And that they all start bitching then. Sorry, hold on. There we go.
What the fuck?
Sorry, it was the boba tea. You have to like poke it.
Have to stab it.
Yes, you have to stab it.
Thank goodness it's not Wednesday.
So yeah, basically
had to.
they're all arguing. Though mainly it's Elliot arguing with Sophie, and Parker arguing with Hardison. Nate has to like whistle to get them to stop. But he says to get them all to focus, he says that like there's a Glenn Reader security system. Which, if you don't know the Glenn Reader reference, it's in reference to two of the writers, Melissa Glenn and Jessica Reader. So I thought that was fun. Like having
That was cute.
Oh, it's a nice little nod.
Mm-hmm.
It is like Carver Edlund.
Yep.
Oh shit. Sorry, but Parker is the first to go over, and she's saying how like that's not the worst of it, and there's also learn that the Davids are under bulletproof glass on a motion detector pad, which causes everyone else to start walking over. Which in the audio commentary, that I think it was actually Dean Devlin described. Is that the Dean Devlin or John Rogers? Described Nate as like a dad watching his kid play with a new toy.
It was Dean. I have
It was
that.
Dean.
That's one of my notes. It was Dean.
And also, like, they pointed out how like Nate at the beginning was sort of forced to work with them.
Okay, and I quote: he said, "Such a daddy looking at his kid, like arguing over who's gonna play with the new toy first." Basically, it's what it was. I'm like, wording, bro. Seriously, wording. Not the daddy. No. Anything but that.
Oh, got another reaction. Thanks, Susie, for the like. Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you. So, yeah. But how at the beginning Nate was sort of forced to work with them. And then later on, and now he has to be the one to bring them all back together for closure. So Sophie adds that there's also like an environmental control system because she saw them working on the airflow. And Hardison also announces that he has a link to the security feed so he can use that to bypass the motion sensors. But then Elliot points out that the guard rotation's too heavy for a day grab, and there's also two standing guards. And this is kind of where we see like why they all work together. Because it's like they each have an important piece of the puzzle, but they don't know how to put all the pieces together yet. Or they can't put all the pieces together yet. Like they each have one piece, they need the other one to put the puzzle together. And to quote John Rogers, they're all broken in their own ways. And also to quote Thief Steals the podcast, it was something along the lines of like, I meant to figure out what the actual quote was, but it's like, it took like perfectly good thief, it took perfectly good thieves and screwed them up, and like fucked them up. Look, they have morals. Like they now have morals. But then Nate's kind of like standing behind the table and is kind of scolding them a bit like, why did you come back? Like, we had agreed to scatter for 6 months. All of you made an amateur move being there. Like, Nate didn't just straight up fucking tell Blackpool he's gonna rob the exhibit.
Yep.
Because like it's hard to leave a job undone, you know, it's like an itch. Harson's like, I put a lot of work into that office. It was like my second home. I blew up my second home. So he's pissed because he basically lost like however long they were together in Los Angeles. All that work. So understandably, he's pissed.
Of course he would be.
Yeah, and Elliot's like, as annoying as you people are, I quit this crew when I quit this crew. Like, nobody makes me leave. Like, I leave when I'm damn good and ready. And Sophie has a more personal stake, and she's like, I really wanted to hurt Sterling for the way he hurt you. And that's when Nate reveals that Sterling's taken over security for the gallery. And they have to work together if they want to break Blackpool and humiliate Sterling. Which Harson's like, well, Sterling knows us, you know, it's going to be twice as hard. Nate's then like, no, it's going to be 4 times as hard. They know we're coming. Of course, the team on looks at Nate like, what did you fucking do? Like, what did you do? And what's funny is Tim Parker's like, and how do they know that? Which, honestly, Parker gives the same look that I give my phone when Alex texts me that she did some dumb shit. Because seriously, you text me. I did some dumb shit. Me immediately texts me, rolls my eyes. What did you do?
I was like, I'm not telling. It's like, just tell me. It's like, all right, fine.
Like, what? Jesus Christ. Sorry, freaking bowl exploded. So, yeah, Nate says he told him. Harson's rolling his eyes like this motherfucker. And God damn it, Nate. Sophie's like, yeah, they humiliated us, but you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Because now the response is going to be, and what's funny, she pauses before saying biblical. And Nate has that shitty smirk on his face and is like, that's what I'm counting on. You still fucked up, Nate. So it seems like some time has passed and they're all working on a plan. And Sophie tells Nate that she thinks the skylights or the roof's way in, but the skylight is rigged with alarm sensors. Parker thinks she could get around those, but Elliot's like, what, and end up on the 20 cameras that they, like the 20 cameras they added since our last trip to the basement. It's funny as,
Awkward.
yeah, it's funny as Parker looks at Hardison and is like, that was fun. Hardison's like, yeah, can we talk about that? Parker's like, talk about what? Hardison just kind of looks at her like, it's like, obviously the fact that we made out and I liked it. Like, we need to have a conversation about this. But I do appreciate that Hardison doesn't force Parker to have that conversation.
Yeah.
So Sophie points out that their schematics are basically outdated, as they have no idea what kind of additional measures Sterling's adding since Nate made his playdate.
Uh-oh.
So Nathan gives a shitty smile and he's like, where's the air coming from? So then the teams all look through the blueprints and they realize, or Sophie points out that the air goes through the base of the display. So then Nate asks, like, what's underneath? Which we both see, and Hardison announces that it's the restoration room. Which is like a maze of storage heating and airflow control. So it's like, how did we miss that? And Nate says, it's like grifter, hitter, hacker, thief. You're all trying to solve your version of the crime instead of just, solving the crime. And there's a reason we work together. And Elliot looks at Nate and is like, yeah. And then looks at Sophie. I was like, was. And Sophie scoffs, but they move on. But I love that this is called back to in the Too Many Rembrandt's job, A Lover's Redemption. Like,
Yeah.
I like Sophie saying grifter, looking at Nate's grave, and then Elliot coming in saying hitter, Hardison, hacker, Parker, thief. Then the shot when it lingers on Nate's grave, like where Mastermind would be.
That hurt.
It did hurt. All right, moving on before we get too depressed thinking about that.
Yep.
So Nate goes on saying they need to go into the restoration room and they need someone on the inside. Ellie's like, well, they know our faces. We can't run a con. Parker then suggests, like, Maggie. Or she says, like, what about Maggie? Or Sophie's, like, shutting down, saying, like most of the people wouldn't recognize us, but, like, Maggie works down there. Like, basically, like, she would recognize them. And Parker's like, no, Maggie's inside. And there's a little bit more arguing before Hardison's like, hold on, like, I got you. Like, just have Elliot call her up as Dr. Sinclair, and like we won't play her, we'll just feel her out. And this is where we could have used that whipping sound effect.
Totally. I would have so come in handy.
Because Nate's like, have Elliot feel
out.
in a way.
Wording.
Elliot does the whole like making the curves thing with his hands, like feel out. He's being a child.
I know, he's being a horny teenager.
You need to smack him with the newspaper. Smack him with the newspaper. That's the sound effect we need. Is we need like newspaper,
Yes.
like newspaper. Anytime Elliot,
I just realized what that looks like.
Oh God!
That's where my brain went, okay?
Oh Jesus Christ! But yeah, we're gonna need a sound effect of like newspaper, someone getting smacked with newspaper for anytime Elliot's horny and won't keep it in his pants.
Mm-hmm.
Or just like a give smack sound effect.
Oh yeah.
But something along that
With the
line
notes out.
of like,
Knock
boy.
it off.
Of course, Sophie reiterates like, ex Nate, ex-wife.
X.
They never say ex.
We never do.
Never do. Whereas Parker's like, okay, like you always have a plan B. Without Maggie, what's plan B? And Nate can't think of a plan B at the moment. So
Ugh.
now Elliot's got to go flirt with Nate's ex-wife. So we see Maggie
The
walking
my
through
room glasses.
So we see Maggie walking through the museum lobby, walking alongside who we'll meet is Dr. Lloyd, played by Eric Avari. And he sneezed, and he's got a case of the allergies. And they had also revealed that they moved a sarcophagus from the Egyptian room to the lecture hall, which is relevant later. And we Blackpool and Sterling, they're doing introductions, and we see some new security that Blackpool or that Sterling has installed, which is these like security doors on the balcony. So basically, it locks down the balcony so nobody can jump over them, like jump over the railing, basically. And yeah. And basically, the museum is now a walk-in vault, is what he describes it as. It's like, this is not a museum. This is a vault with visiting hours. Then Maggie gets a phone call from Elliot. She's happy to hear from him, and he's giving her the like, "Hey Maggie, how you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
Full on. I
He's
know
doing
you're
the
getting
phone
it.
voice. Yep.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. And Maggie's can hear from him, and we see Nate's pacing behind Elliot. Not happy, but he's trying to tell Elliot to don't rush into it, ease in. Of course, Elliot does the quiet point, quiet. It's like, listen, I'm in Los Angeles for a few days. And Nate's like, and Nate reveals he had to ask Maggie out 10 times just to get her to go to coffee. And then Elliot's like, coffee? And of course, Nate's standing there staring at Elliot like, I'm going to fucking murder you now.
I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. We did not just do that.
Yeah. And Elliot gets a time and a place, and they agree to meet. Elliot hangs up, and Nate is just so done. 'Cause Elliot's smirking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
The
sorry,
little
I just
shit-eating grin.
shiver. Yeah, because he's like, she probably just wants some hot coffee.
Oh my god. Can I say the thing? There's
Yes.
two things.
Say that.
One, the phone voice that
Yes.
fucking Christian uses is very sexy. And two,
Yes.
the hot
They
coffee
describe it
bit,
as a
that was
phone voice.
yeah, that was
They describe it as
was
a phone
all-
voice in the audio commentary.
yes.
When they also joked how like that's the same voice that Christian Kane uses when he's seducing women.
Yeah. And
It's,
the she probably wants some hot coffee bit little thing. That was improv by
It
Christian.
was.
And I didn't know that. Now knowing that, I'm laughing. Like it was hysterical.
I guess he went up to John Rogers and was like, "How dirty?
I get the thing. It was like
How dirty?"
He John even said it in the audio commentary. He's like, yeah. He even asked me like, how far do you want me to take this?
How dirty? And he was like, "Medium dirty." Oh, good,
Yeah.
good.
He's like, all right,
It was-
I got the perfect thing.
Okay. What?
His face though.
I know because Nate's like, he's just like, "Shut the fuck up."
Like I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah. Then Elliot's like, "It's not like it's a date." As he's putting his freaking hair up, in like a ponytail, and Nate's like, "Why?" Like, sorry, Jesus. He's like, Jack, you're fixing your hair right now. Because I'm playing the Professor Sinclair dude.
Yep. It's like,
And just gets up and
it's like,
leaves.
yeah, he's like, oh, are you? And he's just like messing with him. And he's like, I can't with you right now. And just gets
Mhm.
mad and walks off.
Mhm.
And he's cute when he's
Sorry,
angry.
I got like a shiver.
He's very
So Elliot,
cute when he's mad.
yeah, this is
He's
gonna
not
get
scary. He's cute.
Yes. So then we see Elliot and Maggie. You know, they're sitting down, they're getting their coffee, and Elliot's like, "Oh, you come here often?" And I was like, "No, I just wanted to see you."
Blech, flirting.
Full flirting. Of course, the rest of the
Barf.
team's in the van and they're watching through a
Listening to
button cam.
this.
Because Elliot has a button cam on. And Sophie's like, "That's a date." And Parker's like, "Is the button cam necessary?" Of course, Nate's like, "Safety issue."
For who?
Yeah, safety issue for who? And then Maggie and Elliot, you know, they're kind of talking, and Maggie asks, like, if they're going to talk about art all afternoon. You know, it's like, no, we could talk about, like, whatever you want. And Maggie's like, good, because that's all, like, my ex-husband wanted to talk about. And it was tedious.
And
Elliot gets so uncomfortable.
yeah.
And
But-
Nate has this look of, like, don't say
But yeah,
a fucking
But yeah,
word.
I noticed something after
Hmm.
she said that. She
Hmm.
kind of looked from his eyes down where the button cam is and then briefly back up a little bit
Oh,
and
like
does it
that's when
again.
she saw the button. Do you think that's when she saw the button cam?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Watch it. When
I'm
you go
now
back and watch
noticing
it
that.
again, watch her eyes. Watch her eyes.
I'm
Her
gonna have
eyes
to watch
go
that episode
down.
again.
No, because it is after this that she really starts like
Mm-hmm.
fucking with Nate.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
It's fun.
Because that's
It's
'cause
fun
that's
to
when she
screw
puts
with
her
Nate.
hand. That's when she like puts her hand on top of Elliot. Elliot
Yeah.
and it's like,
She
"I
kind
wanna
of reaches
thank you,"
over like this and puts it on his, and he kind of chinses
Yeah,
up
she's like,
and
"You
kind of
know,
pulls
but
back
it-
a little bit and then leans in.
like I haven't dated much since my marriage broke up. Of course, it's like, I'm sorry. And I was like, ah,
And
don't
Nate
be.
is just like,
Like, don't be. He was
and Nate is
obsessive,
just like,
controlling. And Nate just freaking blurts out, like, organized. She used to say I was organized and punctual.
He's so grumpy. I love Grumpy Nate. It's adorable.
Elliot, of course, is like, well, he must have had some good qualities. Maggie's like, no. Not even in bed.
And she went
Damn,
there.
low blow. Low blow.
She went there.
She went there. And
She went
it's when
below
Hurston's
the belt.
eyes get big, like, oh. Did I just hear that? His eyes
And
get
Elliot's
so big.
probably now double times uncomfortable.
He was
You're
like,
like, I did not need to hear that about my boss.
Yeah,
He's like,
no,
"Did I
did not
Or
need
just
it.
like,
I'm gonna go flush my ears out.
"Oh."
the poor Okie boy's
He's
brain
gonna
just
need
short circuited. I felt bad for him. He's like,
He's gonna need some ice for that bird. Of course, Sophie has the popcorn kernel in her mouth. Like, she did not just say that.
Not about my future husband.
And Nate's probably just like, I need a fucking
Damn it.
drink.
I'm done.
like, where's the alcohol?
Like someone just shoot me.
I need
right now.
alcohol.
like, somebody just shoot me.
Yeah.
Please.
Then Maggie's like, oh, I know it's prom night. Elliot's still uncomfortable. She's like, he also forgot that I gave him that same button camera for Christmas. So jig is up. Maggie opens the door to the van. Nate's like, I can explain. And
Like,
Sophie
that's
just,
She just smiles.
No, like
yeah,
that's
'cause
SpongeBob
Sophie's
kid,
eating a
like,
pop.
I can explain. With the bicycle.
Yes.
I can explain. I love that.
And meanwhile, Elliot's doing the walk of shame.
Poor- Like sad puppy
I know.
with a coat of shame on his head.
I can't unsee that now.
Oh man, I just tortured myself. Okay.
Yeah, so of course there's also he's standing there awkwardly like Nate is gonna fucking kill me.
Yep.
So they go back to the mansion. Nate and Maggie are arguing. And Parker, Hardison, and Elliot are on the stairs, and Elliot's like, I feel used. Maggie's basically accusing Nate of lying to her. Nate's like, how did I lie?
Mm-hmm.
Sad eye. So Maggie, pissed off, walks out the door. And Nate follows her, and he's like, going great. And the door kind of slams behind him, and so he's like, yeah, you can tell. So outside, Nate's calling for Maggie. Maggie's like, and to think I felt sorry for you. That whole sob story, like that you were sleeping in your car and broke and drunk. And it's like, I was broke, was sleeping in the car. Drunk thing, not
Still
quite
drunk.
past tense.
Still drunk.
Still a drunk asshole. And I was like, what is this, Nate? Like, who does this help? And Nate's like, we help people. Megan's like, you break the law. And this is where we get the start of the line. We pick up where the law leaves off. And then Maggie's like, wow, like, you are not the same man I married. Of course, Nate's trying to think of a comeback, but he can't. Maggie's like, who does this help? Like, Blackwell was always a bastard. Like, he was a bastard when he worked for him. What's changed? And that's where even the music, like, there's this shift. Because you know what Nate has to say. And it's gonna like wreck him to say this, but he has to say it so Maggie understands what they're doing because they need her help. And you could see he's already like trying not to cry as like he's trying to tell like Maggie what happened. But so he tells her like sit on it, like he gestures to a bench and has her sit down beside him. And he's like, I gotta tell you something, Mag. And he starts explaining that like when their son was in stage 4, he found a treatment that would have helped him, and he went to Ian to pay for it, and he wouldn't. And you can see Maggie start getting upset, and is like, he wouldn't. Like she can't believe that. And Nate continues saying like, I told him that we were broke, that we had sold the car or mortgaged the house, sold the car, that we were broke. And he still wouldn't pay the claim. And Nate's like, 20 years at that company, and it wouldn't help save our son. And Nate's like 1 second from a total breakdown. He's crying. It's not pretty at all. It's not pretty. And Maggie's like, why didn't you tell me about this? Like, I work with these people, Nate. I am friendly with them, and you just let me walk around there like an idiot. Like, he's my son, too. And, like, she's keeping her composure somehow, but she has to, like, wipe her face because she's starting to cry, too. And now Nate has officially broken down. He's red-faced, crying, caked in tears. And then Maggie's like, why have you been carrying this around all this time? And it's like, I didn't want you to hate me. And Maggie kind of like touches Nate's face. It goes to like grab his face. And it's like, I can never hate you. Like, why would I hate you? And Nate's like, I do. Then he says, if you had looked at me the way I looked at myself in the mirror, I would have blown my damn brains out. So, like, I gotta give credit to Tim Hutton here. Like, somehow he has made Nate look so small and so weak and so vulnerable and so raw. But it's also beautiful and sunny outside, which is the ironic thing. So then we see the full flashback of Sam's death in the hospital bed. Sam laying in the hospital bed, Nate running in, screaming, picking up his son. But this time, we see Maggie is outside the room, barely holding it together, crying and like grabbing her chest as Nate's losing his mind. And to quote John Rogers in the audio commentary, it's like something real. The point you want to get across is like when Maggie like steps in that doorway, she realizes like she lost her son, but Nate's lost his mind. Which, I mean, it's a fairly accurate description. I mean, because, like, that's when
I mean,
Nate,
that's exactly what happened.
Maggie may have lost her son, but Nate lost his mind. And you can see that, like, as soon as he picks up his son, as he's flatlining, something broke in Nate. Whatever was keeping him together, like that was the last thing holding him together, was his son. And he lost his son, and he broke. And he lost his mind. What I also find interesting is like the part where when Maggie finds out, from the point that Maggie finds out that Blackpool denied the claim, there is this sort of like feminine rage that I think goes on with Maggie.
Yeah, I could see it in her eyes.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what?
Yeah. And this is the difference with Nate. We've already seen him have multiple outbursts at Blackpool over what had happened. No, we've seen him have multiple rage-fueled breakdowns. Or not breakdowns, but outbursts when dealing with Blackpool. Maggie has been keeping her composure, but you gotta know she's boiling inside. Because as she says, that's her son too. And while Nate broke down, she kept going. And it's also the idea, as like, generally as like females, I'm sure we've all been told at some point or another to basically keep it contained and play nice.
Yep.
And keep it in. However, men are often raised where it's almost encouraged to like blow up. And it's typical of a man to explode when angry. However, as a woman, you're not allowed to explode in anger. You know, got to keep it cool, contained.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the Miranda Lambert song, "Mama's Broken Heart." Like, bet you nigga just to break up running, hide your crazy and start acting like a lady. 'Cause I raised you better, gotta keep it together even when you fall apart. This ain't my mama's broken heart. And that really does like describe that experience though, is like, and now that Maggie knows what had happened, she's in and she is pissed. But she's going to play the long game, as we see. Which will lead into the ending, which I absolutely love. So, back to the episode. So, back to the present time. Nate apologizes and they hug. And Nate's kind of like shaky. And again, he looks so small. And that's because he's basically let go of that guilt he's been holding on to for revenge. And the guilt he's been holding on to that's been fueling his revenge. And also, Maggie's the one to release the burden for him when she's like, I don't blame you. Because that was his biggest fear, was that burdening Maggie with this information was going to cause her to hate him. And he couldn't stand the fact that she'd hate him. So that's like why he had kept it to himself. So back in the museum, we see Sterling get a hold. I called him the Busey because that's the joke that they called the characters, like the henchmen to the main bad guy, the Busey, as name for Gary Busey's character in Lethal Weapon. But I think his name's actually Gary. I just called him the Busey.
It's funny.
Basically, he comes over, hands Sterling Elliott's application for when he had applied as a security guard. And he had put a real phone number, and they just found out that he called Maggie. And Sterling sees his phone, he's like, oh, Maggie, what a shame. Because it's like, I really was hoping you wouldn't get involved in this. I thought you were smarter than this to get involved in Nate's game. And now here you are. Kind of thing. So back at the mansion, Nate's talking about the ending of this plan. Because basically they're going to reinforce the rebar and replace the concrete. And, no one's going to be the wiser. But that's all we know with this, plan that Nate's concocting. Of course, Maggie's just like, you expect this to work? Of course, the whole team just kind of, stares at her.
Are you out of your mind, girl?
Duh. And Harrison's like, no, you're supposed to say it's just crazy enough to work. And Sophie's like, amazingly, chance does seem to bend itself to his bizarre machinations. Or something along them lines. Then Parker just straight up leans into Maggie's ear. Then is like, that's his superpower. And then sniffs her.
That was creepy.
Of course, Maggie's just like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Which apparently the sniffing was all Beth.
Yeah, it was improv.
I don't know. I don't know where Beth got the sniffing from.
She was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna go for it, and leaned over and sniffed her.
Yeah.
Don't forget the petting one.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she pets Maggie for a second.
I love that one.
Nate basically asks Maggie if, he has the item they need. And Maggie's like, well, I have to check the museum inventory. Of course, Hardison's like, well, of course, no problem, Hardison. Bing, bada, boom. Gets the inventory. Of course, Maggie's a little worried because she's like, well, this is confidential. You're not reading my emails, are you? Whereas like, no, of course I'm not. I would never do such a thing. But then he looks,
and his voice goes up in pitch.
Yeah, because
his voice goes up in pitch. He's a liar.
Goes to the laptop to scroll through the inventory to find what they need. When Hardison just turns to Nate and is like, "Oh yeah, I'm reading her emails."
Oh yeah, I love when they do that. I love where they're like, "Oh no, yeah, I've already read them."
Yeah, of course, Nate's just kind of giving him a look like, "Really, Hardison, snooping
Seriously?
on my wife."
Ex-wife.
Ex-wife, I might add.
I was doing it from Nate's.
Ah, of course. Katie, I love how we both said ex-wife.
You never
Oh,
remember
yeah.
the
Like
ex.
Maggie
I just
does.
noticed how we said it at the same time.
Yep.
Of course, Maggie confirms that like she does indeed have what they need. Of course, Nate's like, how long can you get it? How long till like you get it to the restoration room? And Maggie's like, well, I can't move it to the restoration room. That has to be the museum director, Darian Lloyd. And then he has to be the one to move the objects. So it's like, oh, okay.
I forgot what that was a reference to. The name, the character's name. But it's a
Darian Lloyd.
reference. It's a reference to something. To a movie
What?
that he was in. The actor.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Lloyd's character. The character name.
Hold on. Let me. Oh, come on.
Son of a bitch.
What?
Dean liked my retweet tagging him.
Oh shit. Wait, is this the thing? He's watching. It said he joined. It said he joined, but I'm not seeing the viewer thing. I'm not seeing the viewer thing. It just says Dean definitely joined, but I'm not seeing the one on the counter. Dean, please give us some indication.
Please give us some indication that you're watching.
If you're still watching.
Please.
Please give us an indication if you're still watching. So we can watch what we say. Please. Sorry, my heart's like pounding right now. Okay, I saw you joined.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Okay. It says that there's 3 viewers.
Or there
Like,
4
click on it.
total viewers.
Oh, yeah.
Viewers live. It's just you.
Dean.
Sorry, I just had like the biggest fucking panic attack I think I have ever had.
Honestly,
Yep,
same.
Oh shit.
I literally thought I was gonna scream.
I forgot how to breathe.
Okay, hold on. What's this? Hold on, let me find Eric Avari. Nope, wrong thing. Nope, that's not it. Nope. That's not it. Sorry, I'm trying to find it, see if I can get that reference. Okay, yeah, there's that. Okay, where's... Wait, I'm confused. I'm not seeing... Oh, he was in Librarians! Or the Librarian, Return to King Solomon's Mines.
Yep.
I don't get the whole Darian Lloyd thing, though. Yeah, what's the whole Darian Lloyd thing? Oh, Lloyd. On the Tom Show. Okay, apparently that was the reference. Whew. Okay. Sorry, I'm still like... Now I'm gonna keep an extra eye in case he joins again, because I just... What's funny is like, I saw like one I saw, I was like, oh shit. So
Dean, thank you for making me panic just now.
yes.
Yeah. Me too.
And on my birthday, no less.
Yes. Alright, so yeah, of course Nate doesn't see the problem. Alright, back to the episode, Nate doesn't see like this problem. And I was like, Nate, you can't just make somebody do what you want them to do. And of course the team's like that's kinda what we do. Like that's kind of what we do here. And then Parker, this is when Parker like pats Maggie on the head and it's like,
Yeah, she
you're
pet
adorable.
her. Yes.
Adorable.
Freaking creepy.
Like,
It's
oh,
creepy.
you sweet summer child.
Yep.
Okay, I just had to check that for my own peace of mind. Sorry. Yes. So where are we at? Oh yeah. But Parker says that in the tone of like, "Oh, you sweet summer child." So now we see Maggie's walking around the museum, and she's kind of like playing with her ear because she's got the comm in it. And Nate tells her like it won't fall out. Like just pretend it's not there. Of course, Maggie's like, what? Like forget. Yeah, just forget my ex-husband's voice in my head telling me what he thinks I should do. I'm in therapy to solve this exact problem. Back and it's Hardison Parker or Hardison Elliot and Nate, sorry, are at the mansion. And they're sitting on like opposite sides of Hardison as he's on his laptop. And they got their snacks and beer. And I'm pretty sure Hardison has an orange soda.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Nate sits down. He's like, sorry? It's got his hair half up too. And then Nate tries telling Maggie what to do. Of course, Maggie interrupts like, does nobody else finds it annoying when you nag him during these things? Sophie's like, why don't I run this one? So now I'm having like every time I see one come up, it's like, ooh. And so, of course, Nate argues that he doesn't nag. He just has a big picture viewpoint.
It's
Hardison's
nagging.
like, yeah, it is nagging. But it's like, Hardison's like, well, we kind of like the way Sophie ran the last one. Right up. It's like, right up. Yeah, like right up until like she got us caught. But like, yeah, up until that, it was fine. It's like, yeah. And then he like kind of leans back and is like, so you're in therapy, like what? And I was like, no, like none of that. I will cut you off. Basically, Hardison's threatening to take away Nate's con privileges. Wait, nah. You do that, you're getting your con privileges revoked. kind of thing. So, of course, Maggie, now being curious, asks what Parker switched Lloyd's allergy medication with. Parker says ragweed, or Sophie says ragweed pollen and dextroamphetamines, which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically speed. And Lloyd squirting it up his nose. Because it's in like the nasal spray.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it's, I kind of feel bad.
I don't.
Well, Lloyd is actually kind of the innocent one here. He's just trying to run his
Really?
museum.
Is he though? Is he?
Well, he doesn't know Blackpool. I don't know if he knows, but he's just trying to do his job. And yeah. And then Parker switches out his glasses. That bumped into him.
Funny.
Mm-hmm. So Sophie tells Maggie to like run up to him so it's hard for him to detect the lies. She'll be like a bit out of breath. And Maggie grabs the phone from Parker because along with switching out the glasses, Parker loves his cell phone. So she hands it to Maggie, who then hands it back to Lloyd and is convincing him that he forgot it in her office when he went to sign off on some benches. And Hars and Elliot both make comments about how, like, Sophie's method's better because, like, you learn and you con. So, yeah. So right now I'm, like, freaking paranoid dude's gonna join again.
I know. He did it on purpose.
He did do that on purpose. And yeah, Sophie then gives Maggie the cue to get Lloyd to the Egyptian room. And Maggie actually is doing a pretty good job at this. But Sterling sees that Parker's there and now has eyes on Maggie. Because Sterling's suspecting something. So Lloyd goes down to the Egyptian room and gets out his laptop, and Sophie does her introduction and is dating the sarcophagus, but she's also selling the idea that there's this like curse with like the sarcophagus. And then Harrison, of course, backs the story online, with some rather damning evidence. And as Sophie leaves, and basically he backed the story, so it was like everyone who touched the sarcophagus has basically died. Which, of course, Harrison's like, what does that say? It's like, it says dead. Harrison's like, DED, baby. Or something like that. They're both Elliot and Nate are like, DEAD. It's like, I was throwing a little style on it. Like, I could hack a bank. I know how to spell. I could steal a bank. I know how to spell dead, damn it. So, little thing. So, speaking of curses, there is actually one involving the Hope Diamond.
Hmm.
Basically, it was like everybody who has come into contact or has like touched the Hope Diamond has died. No, it was like Marie Antoinette, and like through the hands, they've all died, including the messenger who delivered the Hope Diamond to the Smithsonian Museum in DC.
We're gonna need a mic drop. Gary Padalecki on the mic drop. Just dropping the mic anytime you can. Come on.
Drop the mic. But yeah, that is actually true. You can Google it. But I actually have seen the Hope Diamond. I was down in DC on a school field trip and I got to see the Hope Diamond in the case. Which actually, if I pull up a picture, hold on, I gotta. Nope, wrong thing. Nope. Hold on, where? Search. There we go. Do you know? Washington, there we go. Yep. Yeah, there's statues. And where's the Hope Diamond? No. I took a picture of the Hope Diamond because I was flipping out when I saw it. No, that's turquoise. No, did I not? Did I not take? Oh, come on. I had to take. Why is it so freaking blurry? Did I not? Hold on. Sorry. Apparently horrible picture taker. I swear to God, I took a picture of the Hope Diamond. Did I not? Come on, where is it at? No. Did I not? Bless you.
Thank you.
Did I not? God damn it, I thought I took a picture. I swore I took a picture of the Hope Diamond. And why can't I? That's not it. That's not it. No, there those are it. God damn it. Why? Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Damn it. Wait, hold on, let me try. May 30th. Hold on. Let me try one last thing. Maybe. Sworn. 'Cause I do remember flipping out about. That's not it. That's better. Nope, that's not it. Nope, 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 nope. That's not it. Nope. That's dinosaurs. That's not it. Sometimes I feel like this might be the Hope Diamond, but it's so fucking blurry. Because apparently I suck at taking pictures. But I do recall seeing it. Alright, moving on. So, yeah. So, back to the episode. So, Sophie gives Maggie the cue to basically wrap it up. And Maggie goes over, sells the idea that it's not a curse, it's a fungus. And that turned into the story of the curse, which turns out to be a real fungus. So, yeah. So, because this Lloyd gets, Lloyd moves the sarcophagus where they need it, and yeah, so that's in place. So, back at the mansion, Elliot's working on a repelling rig. And Sophie and Nate, like, they come down the stairs and, like, they're talking, and Sophie's like, I know, like, I need a minute. So Nate goes into the other room while Sophie walks up to Elliot. And he has like a screw or something in his mouth. He's like, can I help you? Or no, he's like, you need something? So he's like, just trying to make myself useful. Elliot's a little bit harsh here. Because he's like, last time we tried to do that, we had to blow up the office. Which, of course, Sophie's like, well, that's not fair. And it's like, I was just getting used to it. Sophie's like, what? Having an office? I was like, no, being a part of a team. But the point goes over Sophie's head. And she's like, it wasn't supposed to go down like that. And then that's when Parker comes in, and she kind of has this like expression where to me it's kind of like, oh, hell no. Kind of gives like, because Parker asks what's going on, and it's like, Sophie here was just trying to apologize. So I'm just like, well, I wasn't. No, she's insisting she's not apologizing, and Parker's like, oh yeah, she tried that with me too. She's kind of bad at it.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's also when the Hardison comes in, and so Hardison's like, oh yeah, she tried apologizing to me too. And like, was she about to give you, like, did she give you the speech about how we're thieves and like this is like what we do, and if we had been in her shoes, we would have done the same thing. And I was like, I think she was just getting to that part. Kind of a bit bitchy. And it was so. And Elliot then like, he's pissed, so he spins the tool, like wipes his mouth. I think it was like a pair of pliers or something, or vice grips.
Yep, the vice grips.
Yeah, he spins it, sets him down, kind of like slams the rig, stands up, and is like, points to Hardison and is like, you apologize to him first. Like, why am I last? Because if you remember, Elliot kind of got the crap beat out of him.
Yep.
I mean, Hardison was knocked out, but Elliot definitely had the worst injuries. Because I mean, yeah, broken ribs and concussion. Hardison probably concussion, and if like a cut on his face. Of course, Sophie's trying to say that like I wasn't apologizing. You know, she's flustered because Elliot's like upset and loud, and Elliot doesn't usually get upset and loud.
Yep.
But then Elliot's face kind of goes soft for her, and he's like, "That's the problem." Christopher's like, I just wanted to see if we were okay." Of course, they all take that as an apology, and they come back together because Sophie helps straighten out the old Nate painting. So it is. I'm kind of going to be on this scene for a bit, so bear with me. But it's interesting, this idea that, like, yes, Sophie did betray them. Sorry, to further her own agenda to get the Davids. And she screwed them over. And she got them caught. To her, Sophie's justifying what she did. Because, like, she's a thief, of course, this is what we do. But no, it was for a good thing because stealing the first David helped Nate. So that makes it okay. But what Sophie's failing to realize is everyone's so pissed at her is the fact that, like, had Sophie just was upfront and said what she wanted to do. I want to steal the first David to take down Ian Blackpool. They would have been all for it. At least Parker, at a minimum, would be. But and she's not seeing that the problem is that she lied. Like, that's what everyone's pissed about, is the fact that she lied and she used them. And it also kind of goes to this idea that like yes, they have changed, because maybe before this point they would have almost expected it out of Sophie way in the beginning, but by now they've all kind of learned to work together as a unit, and they like, not only do they like the idea of helping people, they like the idea of working together. And they can't work together if everyone's off having their own agendas when they're on a job. And it's because of Sophie's actions and her lying and getting them caught is what caused them to have to separate. And like, they had to blow up the office because of it. they're just getting used to the idea of working for a team, and then Sophie has to go and do this. And a bit more, it goes into the idea that every one of them has changed besides Sophie. Oh, I'll explain. Sophie has always been about the game. She's addicted to the game. And she's addicted to the con. That will always be, that was always there. So yeah, it's like, yeah, she likes helping people, but she likes the game more, basically. And I'm also wondering if part of the reason that Sophie wasn't upfront at the beginning is because she wanted Nate to break apart her plan to figure out how she'd do it. Because that is obviously part of the attraction on Sophie's part. Part of the attraction for Sophie is that Nate's the only one who's able to figure out her plans and knows the real her. But at this point, Nate's kind of addicted to his own misery, and he can't see the fact that Sophie's in love with him. And I'm wondering if this is the reason they decided to go after Blackpool right then, is because remember, this was Sophie's idea to begin with. It was Sophie's idea to go after Blackpool. But I'm wondering if part of that is because she realized that Nate would never truly love her because she's a thief. And he's still in love with his ex-wife. And I think Sophie realizes that she can't love Nate. Or she does, but she can't love this version of Nate. I think part of her also knows that she'll always love the game more. So yeah. I just thought that was kind of interesting in the fact that so to reiterate what I think Elliot meant by the problem is that Sophie's not apologizing. Because everyone else sees what the issue is, but Sophie just can't. Because to her, she didn't do anything wrong. She did what any one of them would have done. But in reality,
she's too close to the problem.
Yeah. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's the only reason why she can't see it from the team's perspective, is that she's too close to it. Because she is the problem. The way that her actions hurt the team, and she doesn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Funny how that theme kind of comes back up with Nate several times. His actions hurt the team, and he refuses to apologize. Same with Sophie in this moment.
Oh yeah. I'm now remembering.
That kind of comes across with everyone.
Yeah. Honestly, it kind of does.
Elliot, or just going in order. you obviously have Sophie with like first day of a job, second day of a job.
Mhm.
Her line about her motives to steal the first David statue screws him over. Nate oh crap. Why am I blanking? Nate constantly going off and putting the team at risk, doing riskier and more dangerous or riskier and more complex plans.
Yep.
You're pushing everyone to their limits.
Yeah. Yeah. Or past their limits in some cases.
Yeah. Elliot lying about his connection to Damien Moreau.
Oh yeah, that was the harder one. That really hit me.
Yep.
Parker going off on her own to try to crack Steranko without telling the team where she was going or what she was doing.
Yep.
Hardison constantly going overboard with his covers. Iceman job. That screws
Yeah.
him over because Hardison does too good a job and gets kidnapped.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tap out job. Or you can't really blame Hardison for tap out job, though.
Yeah.
True. It's like
Yeah.
I mean, well, the person I kind of blame a little bit is Elliot because he got himself in that situation to where he would get drugged.
yeah, true.
But Elliot wouldn't have had to be
Mm.
drugged if Cousin Jimmy didn't happen.
Exactly.
Because remember, it was Cousin Jimmy, which no one knew about.
Yep.
Oh.
There's always a cause to think. This job is another like part of that. It's like
Mhm.
there's all little bits of each one of them fucked up in some way or another.
Pretty
Doing
much.
something. Either takes something, like takes the con too personally, or they withhold information or go against the plan. So, yeah, that is a theme we will see throughout this series. Oh, and Sophie again in season 2 of Redemption. So, yeah. So, carrying on. So, back at the museum, we see Maggie is directing people where to put a bench. And Sterling's watching from the second floor, and Maggie sees him seeing her. But of course, Maggie's plain innocent, like, or she's acting all innocent, like, oh, I'm just moving benches and moving paintings around, I'm just doing my job. Instead of, I am going to murder Blackpool. Or I'm going to punch Blackpool because he let my son die. So I'm going to fuck up his life like he fucked up my husband's, ex-husband's.
We were just about to say X. I guarantee we were about to say X. I know I was.
Yeah, so then current on, so we see Blackpool is unveiling the David's display. So Sterling watches from the second floor, and we see and like Gary come over, and he's at Foreman's. Where did the Lex? You good? No, she just walked off screen. You good? Wait, what? I don't know what's going on with Lex. I don't know if I need to continue or need to wait a minute or what. This is actually really cozy. Like, I'm pretty cozy right now. Got a heated shower.
My blanket's up there. It's a Sherpa blanket, but I live in it.
Was an idiot, and when it was 33 degrees outside, I was in a hoodie instead of like a winter coat. So I was freezing. And then I had to wait because the fucking bus was like 10 minutes late.
Mm.
Which meant I was late for the
Even if
original
it's 30
transfer.
degrees
Then I had to
outside, I
wait
go
like
outside in a hoodie. Like, there was some times, like, during this winter, I'd be going out in just a hoodie without any other jacket, and I'll be like...
and then I had to wait fucking 20 minutes at my second bus stop. Because I missed the transfer because the bus was 10 minutes late.
I hate when those happen.
You good, Lex? Oh. Okay. Lex, you okay? You good? You're muted. You okay? I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Hold on, let me just get this. See what's going on. You okay?
Mhm.
Okay, you scared me for a second because I was like, I didn't know what was going on. But you good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and continue on. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna carry on. All right, so. Right, so Gear comes over to Sterling and informs them that pictures have been distributed, and they're scanning every guest that comes in. And then we get the reading off of the criminal jackets for everyone in the team. First, we get Elliot, who's wanted in 5 countries, including Myanmar, which has a $500,000 bounty on his head. And we see Elliot is walking behind him as they go to the elevator. Next is Parker's jacket, and she's apparently wanted in 9 countries, including Brazil and Yemen. And of course, everyone's like, I'll have to flip a coin. And then Parker, and we see Parker's at the reception desk. And then Sophie's jacket is red, and she's mainly wanted in Europe. And Sterling chooses France as it has better shopping and even worse prisons. And of course, Sophie's walking by and is kind of scoffing, like, you think you can catch me? Like, you got to catch me first, Sterling, kind of thing. And Hardison's in a dark room looking at, fiddling with the electrical system as we find out he's wanted in Iceland. And I do like this scene as it not only establishes the jeopardy that, like, we see just how big the stakes are for everyone to, like, get caught, not get caught. But also we get the geography of the building, like where the hallways are, who's where, basically. So at this point, Sterling and Gary have entered the security room. And Gary then is like, Nate Ford. Of course, Sterling's like, oh, I have something special planned for him. Gary's like, no, Nathan Ford, he's here. And then on security camera, you see Nate walking into the museum. So, of course, they all, like, go up to him, like, going to, like, kick him out or whatever. And Blackpool's over there, too. And Nate reveals he bought a ticket. So, Blackpool lets him go. Because catching him in the act is a longer prison sentence. So Sterling orders Gary to pull guys from the gallery to follow Nate as Sterling leaves to, quote, follow a niche. So you see Sterling's watching the security feed of Lloyd talk with Maggie, and basically he's trying to figure out what they were talking about. And that's when Sterling finds out that the sarcophagus had been moved. And what's interesting is Nate sees Sterling running with a bunch of goons. And Nate's like, they're looking at each other. And it's kind of like the game is afoot, to quote Sherlock Holmes. Like the game's afoot kind of thing. Then Sterling discovers that there is indeed a mummy in the sarcophagus and not one in the team. But from the mummy falling out of the sarcophagus, it sets off the alarm system because it's directly underneath the Davids. It's directly underneath the base of the two Davids display. So when that sets off the alarms, white smoke starts to fill the case. Of course, Sterling's trying to make sense of like what Nate's plan was. And, they can't open up the case right away like Sterling wants to because they don't know what gas that is. And so, like, protocol dictates that they have to evacuate the building. So, but once the smoke is released, Nate sends out a signal and everyone's phones syncs up to a 5-minute timer. Which I just love that, like how that looks. It's like Nate sending the single, and like you see like all their phones. The Elliot's kind of looks the coolest because he like sees it, and it just looks cool. I'm sorry, Alex. I didn't know your laptop was being dumb. But yeah, I just like the look of that scene because it is very old timey heist. like sync the watches kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm. And because, as I said, they can't open the case, they need to evacuate the building. And it turns out that fogger machine is real. So, because, an unknown gas has been released in public, or released, and, everyone's thinking it's a chemical attack, everyone starts to panic. But Sterling somehow thinks it'll comfort people to think it's a robbery and not a chemical attack. Because, it's not a chemical attack, it's a robbery. Of course, there's a woman who yells, it's a robbery! So, which is actually the first 80s wife. I think that's what they said. It says the first 80s wife who did that. And, but as everyone's, grabbing their bags and leaving, we see that there's fake Davids, or that everyone has a David statue. So, of course, Sterling's he's smuggling the Davids out with the fakes. So he's ordering his men to, gather up all the statues. And then they have to, corral everyone outside. But then Lloyd makes a comment about how, at least everyone's evacuated the building. And then light bulb goes off for Sterling because he realizes now that everyone's outside the museum, he can lock them out, which is what Hardison does. Is he locks them out of the museum. And so Nate goes through the skylight and rappels down. Not so graceful landing. And rope, he pulls the rope through and down so the goons can't go down the rope. So Bolden locks down. Nate says, let's go to work. So, security, Sterling, the Blackpool, and Maggie, and Lloyd, they head back inside the museum. And Sterling, thinks he's got them all. Then as, they're getting the security door open to the gallery, Sterling turns to Maggie and is like, now's your chance to come clean. And Maggie's like, I don't know what you're talking about. She is playing the long game. So they open the security door, and it's just Nate leaning against the Davids case. Of course, Blackpool's relieved that, there's two Davids in the case. But, of course, Sterling also thinks that he has Nate cornered. But Nate reveals that kind of the whole plan was to keep everyone distracted with what he was going to do. As he's like, I wasn't the mastermind on this one, Sterling. I was the bait. Yeah. And then Nate does a 3-2, or does a There's also a 15-second countdown to the lights come on. And then Nate counts down from 3. Lights come back on, revealing that every single painting that was on the wall is gone. Of course, Blackpool is acting a bit like a Scooby-Doo villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Like, no, no, no. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
And Nate's like, oh, the classics really are the best. And then this is where Maggie kind of hints that she was involved because she's like, lists off a couple of the paintings. Like there were like 2 Ramiers, Carpaccio, 2 Van Erlichs at least. And how the paintings were worth $150 million. But like, it is definitely that tone of like, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Is the way she says it. Of course, Lloyd wants to call the cops. Blackpool's like, no cops. Like, I'm responsible. Like, all the paintings. And then that's when he just stops, freezes, and has this like, oh shit moment.
Mm.
And Sterling also realizes what Blackpool just realized. And he's like, oh, well done. As Nate reminds everyone, basically, that every single painting in the gallery was owned by either Blackpool or a client of IYS. Yep. Mic drop. Mic drop. Yep.
But with a pencil.
Yeah, close enough. And also, there's also a $150 million payout because of this. So the board of directors are basically going to be pissed and sue the hell out of Blackpool because of it. And something to take note of is Mark Shepard always insists that Sterling never loses. Yeah, this is something he's repeated multiple times. They say it in the audio commentary, and actually, when I met him at MomentoCon, that's what he said too. This thing is Sterling never loses. But the team always has to win. So that's when Blackpool grabs the gun and is like threatening to shoot Nate. Like, he's like, where are they? And now we're basically back to the opening. Where, like, Blackpool is asking Nate where the paintings are, and Sterling clears the room. And Nate, and again, we get the, are you going to kill me, Ian? You get that again. But then Nate basically lays down how this is going to go to Sterling. And Sterling's like, I'm listening. And Blackpool kind of like points the gun between Sterling and Nate, like, like, you talk to me. Like, you talk to me. And Nate basically ignores him And Blackpool's pissed off too. Nate ignores him, though, and tells Sterling that every painting will be returned as soon as Blackpool is stripped of his position and assets in the company, and his policy of denying every claim ends. Of course, Sterling's like, extortion? Like, he went that low that he's resorting to extortion. To do this. What, you good, Lex?
Yeah. Getting a bit of a headache.
Oh, sorry. First name's like, I call it oversight. Do you need a minute?
I'm good.
Okay. And also, this is when Nate reveals that he has a recording about when he went to the office and was like, I'm going to rob the first David gallery. I'm going to rob the two Davids gallery. And also Ian denying calling the police. Or Ian saying he won't call the police. And he gives the recording to Sterling. And it's like, once the owners of the painting find out that Blackpool knew there was a robbery and did nothing, well, they were going to sue him. And of course, Sterling gets on to what Nate's offering. Because it's like, if the company returns them in good faith, Nate's like, well, they won't fire you if you give them Blackpool. Of course, Sterling and Nate start chuckling at this. Because Sterling realizes that, like, Nate got him good. We really pulled a fast one on him. But he still wins. Of course, Nate's chuckling because he wins no matter what. And he played Sterling. Of course, Blackpool, also catches on to the fact that Sterling's basically going to throw him to the wolves. So he's pissed, and he's like, again, pointing like the gun between them. And then Nate starts throwing Blackpool's words right back at him. Like, can't let personal feelings affect policy. You have responsibility to shareholders, no exceptions. And Nate goes up to Blackpool, takes the gun off of him, gets in his face, and says, I have lost my only son. Do you really think you can scare me? Like, this is a man who has absolutely nothing to lose. Which is what makes Nate dangerous, is the fact that he has nothing to lose. And it's like, he knows he's gonna, like, know if he dies, it's like, he doesn't care. Basically, like, I don't care if I die, because I'm taking as many motherfuckers down with me as I can. Which kind of goes back to the Miracle Job. Remember when Father Paul told Nate that, like, if like he was like trying to kill himself and is just taking as many people down with him as he can. Also, for some reason, this particular bit made me think of the song Hell's Coming With Me. Like, and they all fell to the knees and begged that Jeff to please as he raised his fist before he spoke. I am the righteous hand of God, and I am the devil that you forgot. Now one day you'll see and hell's coming with me. No, it's the idea that, like, Nate is kind of like, I feel like that metaphor is more prevalent though in season 4. Because there's a lot of that, like, imagery though more in season 4, but it also reminded me of Supernatural, specifically Sam Winchester's line of, I've been tortured by the devil himself, so you're just an accent in a pantsuit. What can he do to me? I guess both basically get the same points across. Is like, what can you do to me that's worse than what I've already gone through? So I know you're probably playing that song, but I can't really hear it because it's like muffled. But
It's fine.
they also said in the audio commentary that, like, Nate doesn't care if he dies because, like, he doesn't care if Blackpool shoots him because he still wins because he has Blackpool on tape admitting that he knew there was a robbery that was going to happen and didn't do anything to prevent it. He, like, didn't call the cops and didn't, like, warn anybody that there could be a robbery at, the gallery. So really, Nate wins. He's got Blackpool so backed into a corner. There's only one choice. It doesn't matter if he loses. It doesn't matter if Nate dies because no matter what, he still wins. Like, Blackpool shoots him. There's still that recording. And the board will be pissed that, like, they don't have the paintings anymore. Because they don't know where Nate hid the paintings. Like, we eventually find out where Nate hid the paintings, but as far as they know, the paintings are 10 miles away for all they know.
Or Timbuktu.
Timbuktu in some warehouse somewhere. They really don't know. All they know is Nate did it, and he has that recording. But yeah. All right, so carrying on. This is my favorite part because, all right, so Blackpool, he leaves the gallery, goes up to Maggie, and is like, Maggie, like, you understand. And then Maggie punches him. Good too. Like, she gets him good.
Oh yeah, I was like girl power at that moment. Like,
yeah, like, yes,
queen,
punch him.
Slay.
Let
his ass.
Like, this man let your son die. Beat his ass.
Exactly.
So, what's funny is Maggie, like after Maggie punches him, she's like, screw therapy. Like that felt really good.
Screw therapy. I'll do that again.
What's funny is
Great.
after like Maggie throws the punch, Nate just kind of like he takes it back and he's like, whoa. And it kind of looks like he's fallen in love all over again.
He's like, whoa. That girl's got an aim.
Mm-hmm. And now I see why I married her.
Exactly. I saw that look too. He's like,
But I can't help but think that there's a part of him that's also like, oh, I fucked that up.
yeah.
I fucked that up bad.
Yeah. I could see that too.
Sterling's just like, of course Maggie's gonna punch him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Maggie leaves, or Maggie walks away. And then Sterling looks at Nate and is like, you know, your entire plan depended on me being a self-serving, utter bastard. And it's like, hands the gun to Sterling. Is like, yeah, that was a stretch. Like, yeah, you are a self-serving, utter bastard.
Mm-hmm. In that accent, exactly. Like,
And like, of course, like Blackpool's world has come like crashing down, but he's still like fixing his tie. And like Nate just leaves the freaking building, and the goons are all like, "What just happened? What is happening right now?" So then we see Maggie and Nate are sitting on the bench beside the display case. And Nate, or Maggie asks Nate if he's going to stop. And Nate's like, he doesn't know. First, Maggie makes a crack about how, like, that's the first time he's admitted to not knowing something. So then Nate gets the call that, you know, it's done. And, like Blackpool's out, basically. And so then it's time to return the artwork. So we see that there is a hidden door in the bench that leads to the restoration room where all the paintings have been stored. Mm-hmm. And I love the roundy round. We get a roundy round.
oh, now I want to go up a spiral staircase and then go down one and then go back up it.
Yeah, and so, yeah, they leave basically taking all the artwork out of the room, or they're going to take all the artwork, basically put it in the loading dock to make it look like it came from the outside, and Hardison and Elliot are going to close up the hole so that no one knows it was there. Which, you know, pretty solid plan. And Maggie then tells Nate that, like, he is not the man she married. But then Nate asks what he thought of, or what she thought of, like, this version. And I was like, I don't love him, but I might like him a little bit more. So it's interesting. So this is So you can definitely tell, as I've pointed out before, that like Nate's still in love with Maggie. And like Maggie obviously still cares about Nate, but she knows there's not a chance in hell that like they'll work together again. Like there's just too much baggage there,
Yeah.
and it would not end well at all. Had Nate and had like that they gotten back together. Sorry, I have like the bubbles left in my tea, but I can't get them.
Look, I'm literally drawing in a book. So, like, honestly, we're all unfiltered here. We're all just doing random shit. Like, I'm literally drawing in a book.
And also that was the last scene that was shot. Was them, like that was the last scene shot, was them doing the final reveal of where all the artwork is. Then we go to an airport. They're in a circle, and we get another round shot. And it's their goodbyes. Nate, thanks to Melissa saying that like they surprised him. No, it's like we had a good run. Carson's like it's a good time to move on.
Parker smile.
I know, she's like, I'm going somewhere else. Like and the camera's on the Sophie, and she's like, a fresh start. And then Nate's like, you all made a difference. Like, I want you to know that. But you can kind of tell on everyone's faces that like they're not done.
Yeah, they don't want to leave.
Yeah. But like they're telling themselves that it's a good choice right now. And Hardison then asks Parker where she's going. Parker's like, let's see how hard you look. So we went from one show only, no encores, to one more, to we had a good run, to you're my family, to for better or worse, we changed together, to till my dying day.
Yeah.
Then till our dying day.
Yeah.
Go past that. When we get the robot bodies. The growth. The growth is immaculate.
Where are my tissues?
Where's my chocolate?
And what's even cute, it was like Parker and Hardison went from let's see how hard you look to you're not alone anymore. I got you. To
You're mine.
Alec. Like, do you hear me, Alec? I need you.
Yeah.
Or no,
I've got you. You're
No.
mine.
Let's see how hard you look. To I think I'm having weird feelings for pretzels. To do you hear me, Alec? You're my friend, and I need you.
Okay, I just realized why my boyfriend calls me pretzels now.
No.
I'm gonna cry.
To you're not alone anymore. I got you. To for better or worse, we changed together. To
Not the Mr. T voice in my head.
Hardison's always watching. Like, is that not gross?
Yeah. Katie, are you crying?
Honestly, I think I am. Honestly, I don't know
I am too.
anymore.
I'm actually tearing up.
Oh, because it's like you have these like 5 loners.
Oh, we. Oh man.
Like you have these 4 loners, or these 5 loners, who who formed to do a job, and then like they end up finding a home within themselves. It's so fucking poetic. It's so poetic. But all right, so back to the scene. So like they all stand there for a minute. They're all looking like they're gonna cry,
Yep.
but we see
But
they turn
reveal the
around.
reason why they were crying. It looked like they were about to cry.
Okay, that's because Dean Devlin, before they shot that scene, told them that like, hey, like this might be it. Like we might not be coming back for another season.
Yep.
Then just
he
left.
he purposely made them like emotional.
Yeah.
On purpose. And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
you evil man.
Yeah.
And yes, Gene, I called you evil for doing that to them.
And then like I guess like they stand for a second. They turn and start walking. But after a couple steps, they stop. You see Elliot first. And he looks like he's fighting against himself. Like he wants to keep moving forward, but every part of him wants him to go back. And we see Parker is about to cry, and she takes a shaky breath. Because I think because she did find a family. And she found a place where she could belong for once. And where people appreciate her for her. And she's not just a tool. And then you see Hardison's face is next. He's upset too. Because, I think because he found the focus that he wanted and he found a cause again. Then there's Nate, who you can tell he really, he liked the feeling of being the Black King for once. And, he found, I think he found stability, but he also found I think he just enjoyed it too much, I think. And he wants that feeling again of enjoying it. Then there's Sophie. He lets down a single tear.
That hurt.
And then we cut to black. And the credits roll. You could tell by the way they're all looking at each other, or the way they're all looking, why they want to go back. Elliot, he found a team. He found a purpose. To kind of not to bring The Last of Us into this, but to quote kind of episode 3, when Bill in his letter, or not only when he tells in his letter to Joel after that, he says in his letter that you find that one person, and that is what makes life worth living. And you find your purpose with that. Like, people like him need a purpose, and he found that purpose with his husband Frank. For Elliot, he found his purpose in Parker and Hardison.
OT3.
Yeah.
I saw a Twitter. This is more like Leverage Redemption, but I saw a post where someone said, I think it was actually Leverage OT3 on Tumblr, where they said, like, because another one of the lines that Bill has in The Last of Us is, I'm old, I'm satisfied, you were my purpose. He tells that to Frank. And like, that would kind of be Elliot in Redemption. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some allusion to that in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm like now making myself emotional over Elliot
Mm-hmm.
finding a purpose.
Oh man.
I
That
can't.
just reminds me of the fic I read, Android Dream. Like, it literally kind of has that, like, implied in the storyline. Because, like, in this one, he's, like, a robot. And Parker gives it to Hardison as a Christmas gift. And, like, throughout the story, you kind of find Elliot as the android to find his own purpose. And it's, like, and Parker just starts calling him Elliot. Even though it's, like, LE07. It's like, it's really cool. And I'm like,
Not the 7.
can't recommend it enough, guys. You gotta read it.
Send me the link to it.
Oh, I totally. I'll post it in the group chat.
10 Prides in Portland was the first ever Leverage fic I read.
Yeah, I think Android Dream was the first one I read, surprisingly. So
The reason why I remember reading that one, a bit of irony there. I remember reading 10 Prides in Portland, and I was like, no, it was like, I think actually I'd have to reread 10 Prides in Portland. But I want to say, because the whole point is like Elliot, being more exposed to like that community, and then discovering himself, and then becoming like out and open. And then I think the story actually ends with like Elliot proposing to both Parker and Hardison. It's so sweet.
Or no, I want to read that one. If I haven't already, I want to read it.
Yeah, it's 10 Prides in Portland. Amazing. I forget who the author is, but yes, amazing fic. I would just like the fact that like Elliot found a purpose again. Also the fact that both Elliot and Bill share their love of cooking. Like, they share through their love through cooking. That hit me like a goddamn freight train.
I found it.
With 10 Prides in... Oh, which one? Yeah, I didn't. See, I thought I saw a fic somewhere where it was like cyber, like the whole robot bodies thing. Yeah, so back to the episode. So, but for Parker, I think she's found a home and a way to keep her skill set active. And she's found a family and someone who sees her for her, aka Hardison. Hardison has found a calling and a way to improve his skills and his focus. Nate has also found a new calling in helping people. And he's found a new way to help people and Sophie found herself and found Nate again. And like I think they really did enjoy like having a place to go where they felt safe. And they started to enjoy the idea of helping people. And yeah, I'd love the final reveal of like the switcheroo, because Tim Fred's in Portland. But I love a good switcheroo. And I also love how that gets called back to in the Harry Wilson job, with the idea of having like the mastermind being the bait. Like in this case, it was Nate was the bait, and he's the mastermind. But in the Harry Wilson job, Sophie's the mastermind, but she's also the bait.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And also like having the switcheroo. And I love basically that like Hardison in that heist. Hardison's the red herring. Or no, he's not. No, he's sort of the Chekhov's gun. You know, like we know he's in play, but we're just meant to assume through blood that it was Brianna. And then you get the reveal that it's actually Hardison, and like that. And nothing will ever top. Did you really think it was a good idea to give the Elliot Spencer 60 Seconds of Darkness? And he just comes busting in. He's doing the fucking crazy eyes though. Like it's kind of the equivalent of like when he got the beat down from Gwen, and Gwen's like, "Why won't you go down?" And he has that chuckle and like blood's dripping out of his mouth. It's looking psycho. Because it's like, because to me the face is like, because I'm better than you, motherfucker.
Exactly. Exactly.
The sort of the audio commentary was more like Elliot figured out how to beat Quinn. Which I mean, I guess both can be true. Like, I got you figured out now, motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah. I think also Maggie is a very good example of like feminine rage, because you obviously know she has to be upset about like her finding out that Blackpool denied the claim that for the treatment that would have saved her son's life. But instead of being like Nate, you know, he was already had 2 outbursts at Blackpool. Or this Maggie has been in the background setting up the dominoes to watch his world burn. I mean, because that's what she kind of does. Like after Nate reveals that like all the paintings are stolen instead of the statues, she was like, I am gonna enjoy this. And then the punching him was like the one final fuck you. It was funny. They also joke in the audio commentary about how like they kind of screw themselves right in this episode, Sarah's like, well, we wrote a really good finale in the last episode. How the hell are we going to bring these guys back together? It's like they blew up the office, like we broke them up. Which, yeah. And actually, originally, what the plan was that beginning, they were all going to be working together. Then it just became more confusing because, they have to figure out, like, how they came back together. There was that one part of the equation that, like, for some reason they couldn't figure it out, right? And so they were like, well, what if they aren't working together? What if they just happen to be at the museum at the same time? Which I love that detail because it makes complete and total sense for them. They don't like leaving a job undone, So, of course, they would all go back to the museum. And I just love it. And what was also funny is, like, when they also joked, like, when they found out that they got a second season because they had, like, kept everyone, they had, like, that ending. And
They're like, so how are we going to bring these people back together?
yeah, they were like, or for the beginning of season 2, they were like, well, shit, how do we solve this? Because it did kind of like
Broke up the band.
yeah.
In a way, yeah, they kind of was like, oh, wait, how are we going to
Poor
bring
John
them back?
Rogers.
Yeah. And also, as Lex mentioned,
He actually said that in the audio commentary. He's like, yeah, we broke up the band, so we had to figure out a way to put them back together.
yeah, which is how, like, the whole like, they aren't together thing came from. And also, John Rogers is on his 13th Guinness.
Drunk motherfucker.
Well, actually, I think he is actually now sober.
Yeah. This is back when he was drinking.
Yeah. And there's also a deleted scene of Parker switching out the medicine while Hardison calls the pharmacist to distract him so Parker can switch out the medicine.
Oh, I need to go back and watch the deleted scenes.
Well, actually, I have the DVD pulled up. So, do you want to start going through some of the special features that are on the DVD?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, now you're gonna have to bear with me. I have no idea how this is gonna sound, so please if this doesn't sound right, let me know, and I will try my best to fix it. So, should we just go down?
Yes.
Go down the list. All right, so behind the scenes. Come on, don't wake out on me now.
Come on, behave.
What the?
Hi, my name is Dean Devlin. I'm really excited about a new TV series I'm doing for TNT called Leverage. So come with me and let me give you a look behind the scenes.
Roll.
Seymour!
And 3, 2, 1, go!
They do love blowing shit up.
They do.
This is a group of thieves who have worked their whole lives alone. They've never worked in a group, and they've been antisocial to begin with.
I'm probably getting so much
Nate,
trouble, but
in
it's the
essence, is the
DVD.
glue that holds them together.
The character I play, Nate, he's not a thief, but he's quite a good profiler of thieves, and that's what he did for years. And he worked for an insurance company.
Hey, you! Hey, where's the Pacific Guard? The parking for the crew.
For my favorite episode.
Yes.
To collect money off of insurance claims.
Leverage was kind of a weird intersection of influences. Chris
Johnny
Downey
boy.
talking about the fact that no one was really doing
What the fuck's he gay?
You know, we were talking about how there was just no
Wait, what?
kind of fun.
What did you?
con-
Wait, I missed it.
TV like there was.
He was like leaning back.
Oh.
to do more of a return to that.
You watch these shows for the candy. You watch it so at the end of it you go, oh, that's the magic trick.
When
There's a
John was
reason
presented
why
with this
Leverage
opportunity from Dean
invented
Devlin,
the
he just
term
jumped at it
competence
and said,
porn.
This is something we've been wanting to do for a long time. So it all kind of like came together.
Well,
Which
have
is
a
why I love
phenomenal
it.
Team
It's
on this
competence
show.
porn.
Sean Rogers is my favorite writer on the planet, and the fact that he's running this show and running that writer's room, it's a gift.
The pitch was basically, it was like the A-Team.
People are saying Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, stuff like that. I really think it's a modern day A-Team, to
Yeah.
be honest with you.
It was essentially
It's like the
reformed,
greatness of
cons
the A-Team with like the
who,
style of
because of the
Oceans.
leadership of one man, decide to use their skills for good. And the interesting thing about it is they're not all really reformed. And so in the pilot, you see them come together on one single job. There's one job that's a walk away. It all goes wrong.
Wouldn't it be fun if they set out this great plan in the beginning and then everything goes perfectly? And
Tim Hutton, Nate, is the one who bands them back together for vengeance. And when they work together, they realize this is the most fun they've ever had. And since they're all really adrenaline junkies anyway, they decide to work together, but they have to follow Nate's one rule, which is this time we go after the bad guys.
You know, we start with great scripts every single week.
Yeah.
And that's really a blessing. Usually on a show,
Leverage
you get a
honestly
couple good
does have
scripts
some
and
of
the
the
rest
best
you gotta
writing.
beat up until you get something worth shooting. Every week we're
Obviously,
handed
you're
another
gonna
challenge. So
have
we start with something great.
some
great thing
doozies.
about
I
it
mean,
is
that
that
just
there
is
haven't
what's gonna
been
happen.
These kind of bad guys on
But
TV.
honestly,
So
like
it's kind of
Leverage
like
is pretty consistent.
there's a lot of stuff out there that hasn't been mined. These kind of CEOs and corrupt corporate types, and every day we'll email something to each other, and so we're always kind of looking for these things and try and put our own sort of spin on it.
Nearly all the cons that are presented in the show are based on actual cons. And we have these marvelous people who are working with us, led by Apollo Robbins, who's
Apollo!
opened up this encyclopedia of cons and heists.
Trained Parker to be Parker.
With thieves. My dad was a minister, so I grew up in that dichotomy. It made me an honest thief. We knew that, say, a cop show, they typically have an ex-cop as a technical consultant. On a medical show, they'll have a doctor. So I suggested, why don't we get this guy, Apollo Robbins, as our pickpocket consultant? I work as a professional. I do it honestly for the good of people. In hacking, they call it black hats and white hats. I wear a white hat. But I keep my foot in the black as well, so I get the latest information of current trends going on with cons and fraud. A lot of this is with identity theft nowadays. But my fascination is with the classic law.
Keep in mind, this is 2008, so this is the height
Apollo
of like
Robbins is a
the
walking
Nigerian
encyclopedia
prince
of
scam.
crime.
And this was
he knows
also right
a
after
long
the
history of
2008 financial
what cons were
crisis.
used where, what techniques are used to distract you.
I've worked with Apollo Robbins on the set, learning some techniques for sleight of hand and pickpocket and ways to divert people.
She made that look way too easy.
Mhm.
It's been great working with him. We've all worked with him.
Apollo, meeting him was a lot of fun. He
Baby
actually
heart,
showed
baby
us
Alec,
a few things here and
baby
there,
Otis.
came in on, an
Can you
episode
believe
playing cards.
I am
Showed
1
us
year
some
younger than
card
him.
Tricks.
Apollo Robbins.
Bethy!
In
I like to
season
call
1, I'm
him
1 year
the
younger
people
than he was
whisperer.
in season
He's a
1.
man of mystery.
He's so steady in human behavior.
He's amazing. He's the real deal. He knows that world, inside, forwards, backwards.
He's a master at misdirection.
Apollo was legit, so you don't have to be afraid. He's good people.
The other day he was in a room and he wrote something on a card. And he walked up to this man and he took his glasses down like this. And he walked closer and closer and closer. And the man went like this. Apollo said, "Turn the card over." The card said, "I'm going to make you cross your arms." And it's understanding psychology and human behavior allows him to make you look here when he's doing something over here. And that's something he's brought to the set, and all the actors have learned how to do it.
A sleight of hand artist is, they used to call it prestidigitation. The art
Prestidi-
of
I can't even
specific
fucking say that.
manipulation with the hands. My fascination is not with the magic you would see on TV, with the illusionists per se, but the classic sleight of hand used by thieves that was passed from generation to generation.
Who could really pull off a scam out of all of us? Me. Me. Yes.
I work
Wow,
with,
Betty.
primarily three people.
Wow.
Parker is my first, because I develop a lot of the scenes and she does them herself. For Timothy, or Nate's character, I'll come in and do the hands sometimes to add certain flourish to his style. And then also working with Sophie as a character and helping her add a little bit of con element to what she does. And all of them have picked it up very well.
One of the things that was very surprising is that when Apollo
That's
Robbins
scary.
started playing Beth Restrepo, who plays Parker, was that she had a natural ability for it.
So hide your wallets around Beth.
A new career because
Mm-hmm.
pick your pocket and you don't even know it.
I steal everything all the time.
I was literally.
Check your back pocket.
She's a very good girl. She doesn't steal. She doesn't steal from anyone yet.
Yeah.
Let's see how the ratings go.
Yeah.
An old saying that it takes a thief to catch a thief. So I've been spending time going into prisons and recruiting thieves who are nonviolent, but they're grifters, but they have an insight into the psychology and the techniques that are used. Because I have limited knowledge in certain areas, but with their backgrounds, I get to learn a little bit from a wide range. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades with diversion, fraud, and
When we were casting
This
the
is
show,
a man. This is the man that pickpocketed a president.
Yeah.
backgrounds, including from around the world, and that these were people who were world travelers. Tim Hutton plays Nathan Ford, who is a man who had lived his entire life by the straight and narrow.
Nathan Ford, the part I play, who's the former insurance investigator,
Baby
who's now gone to
sweetie.
the other side and become somewhat of a thief, con artist himself, in order to help those who can't be helped in other ways.
One day he was called to lead a group of thieves on a mission. And suddenly he thought he can take these bad people and use them for good.
Yeah, he's always got something in his head. He's always got something, cooking in case something goes wrong.
Always
And things
is
go
fit-
wrong quite
fit-
often.
You think
There
too
is
much.
Parker, who has no other name than Parker, who is probably the world's best thief.
Parker is a really interesting woman. She had a pretty tough upbringing, pretty tough life.
Unfortunately, she's also a bit crazy. And she has a very mild
A
case
bit.
of Asperger's. She doesn't
That's
understand
called
how
autism now.
react to
Yeah.
things.
We don't use
Through it all,
Asperger's
she
anymore.
found,
'Cause that is
Yep.
an anti-Semitic
way that
term
she knew how to survive,
started by
you know,
Nazis.
came
So we use
easier
autism
when
now.
she was
This is from
feeling,
2008
able to
when
get
that
herself
was
in and out of
less
situations
of
easily
a
and
thing.
quickly.
She's the girl you want to hug desperately, but you're a little frightened she might put a knife in your back while you're doing it.
Yes. That's like the perfect description.
Christian Kane.
My boy.
Muscle.
We're gonna freak out.
And it's a little bit of a mystery to where what his background is. It's definitely military.
He's been a retrieval specialist, so he's been sent all around the world to bring back dangerous items and risk his neck doing so.
What I did was I just made him
And
mad.
that one little clip of him fighting
Oh, he's upset.
Mhm.
In a fight. And it's
Plane.
that's when he's actually calm. So he's always, he's got the wisecracks. He really can't stand the people that he's around sometimes, and everything kind of bugs him.
In a strange way, he's the most grounded of the group.
I love that
He's very
dichotomy.
clear on what he's done his whole life.
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
But he's also been a loner, as has everybody on this team.
Nate Ford, played by Timothy Hutton. If he's the gun, if he's the trigger, then I'm the bullet.
And that brings us to
Very
Al
well
Hardison,
said.
who
Yeah.
is our resident hacker.
I also think of it as
computer
more
genius,
like a
and sci-fi nerd,
lieutenant.
but not in the 1980s.
Like Elliot is
way
Nate's
with the-
lieutenant.
with the
Mhm.
And so that makes
He'd be in-
Nate the general, the one in command.
Alec Hardison is the tech specialist. He knows everything about
I still
computers.
can't believe he was
Big
21
super geek, but
when
he's
he
still a
got
cool
this.
dude.
Just a
But,
baby.
all his life,
I am 1 year
places
younger
just to see if he can get in. It's
than him.
it's what he does for fun.
I am
In
2
season
years
one.
older than him in this.
Life
Old as he
career
was in
of,
season 3.
3, actually.
career criminal.
He's played with such style.
Yeah, I'm gonna be 22. Like I just have 2 more months left.
It's all about the hands. See, the face tricks you. I'll pull you in with the face. Only a mother could love this face. Hi, how you doing? But the hands are doing the work.
Then there's Sophie Devereaux, played by Gina Bellman.
I'm not gonna. I'm reading into that. No.
Yeah,
Bad prank.
that's
Bad.
In the grand tradition of the Drifter.
Well, Sophie Devereaux is an enigma, and I was informed by one of our writers the other day that we don't even know if that's her name, and it might be revealed in a later episode that that's not even her name.
She can be 1,000 different people with 1,000 different voices. And even to this team, who's become very close to her, they're never really quite sure who she really is or where she really came from.
She's a great mouthpiece. She can put on any characterization, which obviously is a gift for an actor. She can play.
Yeah, and honestly, to have a character like that, you would need someone the caliber of Gina Bellman
amazing
to portray that.
You know, I mean, they throw so many at her, and she just tackles them like nobody's business.
But her secret ambition is to be a theatrical actress. And what's really kooky about her is that she bombs on stage. I mean, she's just awful. She falls flat on her face. What Nate, Tim's character, realizes about Sophie is that she can give a perfect performance if she's breaking the law.
I think the ongoing conflict of the show is, can this group stay together?
You never know if they're going to stick together as a group from show to show, week to week. So that's kind of great to
the fun.
See how they're moving along and how they're each contributing to the plan.
Make no mistake about it. These people have big hearts, you know, but they're thieves. It's about the money. It's about what can we get for ourselves. And we found, along the way, helping people feels pretty good too.
I think people are going to really take notice of what we did on this one, and we're very proud of it.
Yeah.
We hope that for an hour, we get to transport you into some place that's a little more fun.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more adventurous.
Well, hold up, Rambo. What a Rambo.
See, actually, to kind of bring this back to the podcast that Dean was on today, or I guess technically yesterday. It's 1:30 in the fucking morning. He actually said how, like, when he pitched the arc, originally it was a bit darker because people had been complaining that, like, all of the stuff is like too funny, or they wanted something a bit more dramatic and that. But then when Sci-Fi picked up the arc, they're like, can you make it like your old shows of like the comedy?
It's like you never win, double-edged sword. Like
But he like prefers doing that though with like the comedy, because like that's what I think the world needs more of, is like that escapism. And especially like with Leverage, there's a catharticism factor with seeing fake real life bad guys get taken down. And especially if you're like middle class, or like middle or lower class, you've probably met someone who like could have used the Leverage team.
Yeah.
Who do that. Okay. Should we do you want to do Anatomy of a Fight again, or skip down the camera? Anatomy of a Fight. Not okay. Anatomy of a Stunt Fight, because it's Lex's birthday.
Hey, Mark.
This is an opportunity for those who aren't able to see it because they don't have the DVDs.
It's also on YouTube.
It is on YouTube. Well, I'm not sure about everything, but
this
what you do is when this he says the line, and you come across.
Count to 3.
Sailing, you put the thing down, and you go after it.
Absolutely.
Look, falling is
Oh,
hard.
my head hurt.
Clayne Crawford to come in and play Quinn, so we get to beat up on each other today. Not unlike
Not unlike our lives.
Yes.
They totally choreographed lightsaber fights in the basement.
It's a 4-part fight.
Yep.
And the first part is really just
Fire room glasses. Sorry.
all of a sudden he's got somebody, he's got an adversary in front of him. It's not what he expects.
Oh, that had to hurt.
And there's a rib kick that will spin us into a cutscene.
They go hard.
For the next, we'll pick it up on the on part 2, which will be here.
This is speed is what gets me every damn time.
No.
This is actually the second part of the second series.
That's this, right?
Yeah. It's down. I'm stunned here. This will be the actual knockout of the fight. He'll come in,
Run up.
stunned. Go boom, crack, smash. Boom. Spin him this way. And then it's just a 2.
Yeah, that. As I said the last episode, that is actually how you make the punching sound.
Zach, I was hoping for a good fight.
Yeah.
So this is an
This is an Elliot Spencer.
That just kills you.
It's better sometimes.
Pun not intended.
To go through
Yeah.
the whole fight, just straight through. It's very tiring. A lot of times, that's when almost a lot of people get hurt. So it's better to break it up and to do segments of it. And it's really just a dance. I mean, like for this thing right here, you can actually count it. So for the second part of the scene, it's just
Now I'm gonna have to start counting Christian Kane fight scenes.
I do. I count it.
1, 2, 3, 4. So you just kind of get into a dance. It's just a little dance, and I actually like to count in my head sometimes.
Of course you
And that's basically it. It's easy when you got your buddy on set and you can work with him, and he's a damn good fighter.
Guys, like got on the barrel. Ready? My phone.
Defeated my fucking kid. Stupid trash can.
Did you catch what I was singing? Did you catch what I was doing?
Damn, I missed it.
Nope.
Right. My pony. Listen.
No.
Let's do
Damn it, woman.
Riding my pony.
I hate you right now.
Shall we get into the cameras of Leverage?
Well, I mean, it's too damn late. I'm tired. I'm cranky.
Or we just do
Bedtime.
bed.
Do you want what?
Yeah.
What do you want to do next?
Bethy.
Let's do Bethy.
Okay, now it's been a bit since I've seen this, so I can't guarantee what's going to be shown.
Very
It's just
often,
her acting crazy.
reasons on a TV series, actors will want to participate in the writing process to, further develop their characters. So we like to do a thing we call the idea day and have the actors come by, and they usually contribute something positive to the show.
Oh
and,
my god!
And then there's Beth.
Then there's
and there's Beth.
versus the writers.
I'd just like to say that I saw the YouTube video that you guys did, and I'm actually pretty pissed off about it.
These people threatened me. They had lots of black suits and they had lots of papers for us to sign.
Zombie alien babies? I mean, who exactly is supposed to have that baby? Me, right? I mean,
Oh my
I'm
god!
thinking it's me.
No.
Of E.T.'s head.
No.
This is not gonna come out of my. I don't like the idea of coming out.
Bethy!
I can assure you that now we don't.
There was a lot of talk about Elliot doing all the fight scenes, but I'm training every single day.
So I got Beth doing lots of different training. Different leg sweeps, laser beams.
To not use me, I just feel like it's not fair.
Basically, I'm just training a killing machine.
Hey, you! Yeah, come here. Come in here. I want you to come at me. No, back up. Back up. Here, you're angry.
Oh my
you're
god!
mad at me.
That's,
and you wanna-
don't kill the actor. Don't. Oh Jesus Christ!
I think that's the make-a-wish.
I'm getting secondhand embarrassment. All right.
This is a release. You could just sign that from a seat scrap.
This is my idea. So Parker
He is like, I'm so done.
decided she's combined with one of the most deadly animals.
Oh
on
no,
the
that was a. Don't laugh. Don't look at the camera and laugh. Don't look at the camera and laugh.
That was hiding a smile.
Yep.
I know that trick.
It could be
Yep.
Parker.
No.
I don't know if it'd be the same with a half Beth, half shark saving a bunch of orphans from Serbia.
No. Go, Jesus. This isn't. This isn't fucking Stargate. No.
Aldous is just standing there like I don't know what's going on.
Finn,
What? How did they get this sound effect?
Parker
Is it
as a
like-
weapon has a branding iron like a calling card. She stamps
Branding iron.
She has it.
Oh my God.
It just stays hot constantly because her inner temperature is like the temperature of the middle of Mars.
That's not how
No,
it
that's
works.
it's way hotter than that. And you, by the way, please stop making fucking eye contact with me. Dean, I talked to you about this. It's like a weird thing, you guys. He does it to me when you're not around, and it's not even
Oh,
like something
dude.
I'm making up.
Well, you know,
I'm
Beth
so
is very
sorry. I had to
upset
put
because
up
she
with this.
believes that Chris had behaved
Look, I know this is
badly
obviously
towards her on
parody.
the set of the show.
You realize Chris was actually never on set during the entire season, right?
I can't work like this anymore, Dean. If he's gonna be on the show, something has to change.
I don't even know him.
We've asked Chris to change his name.
It just makes our lives a lot easier if you just say it.
I am very and sincerely sorry for anything I may have done or said that could have implied less than a complete respect for Ms. Reese Graff.
Okay.
I was so concerned about my behavior that I fell and bumped my head in a completely
We all
accidental
saw
way.
it. We all saw it was an accident.
I'm taking a little pencil behind your ear. Shove it. No.
Yeah, I have the best relationship with my writers. I'm so lucky because they really take me and my ideas to heart.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten a lot of work done, and having the actors come in
It's great.
pretty much every day has just really helped us. Really
smooth things along. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited
No.
for the second season of Leverage. With
It's
all my
funny because Beth directed a couple episodes in Redemption.
I've been dreaming about this for a really long time. I just can't believe it's happening.
Season 2, Leverage. Yay.
He's like, I'm not ready for this shit.
Okay.
Has anybody ever
I can't.
prima donna?
No.
Alright. You good? Show. Do you want to do outro? Or do you have any other like notes?
Nope, that's it.
Alright, so I'll stop sharing that. Alright. Yeah,
I'm gonna have the anatomy of a fight scene stuck in my head. Thank you very much.
I know. So
Because of fucking Bama.
yeah, I was gonna talk about like the Leverage gets renewed because I just found it adorable that Aldous called his mama.
I know.
He called his mama, and it was funny as he
Right.
gave the phone to Dean, and like he told him they were coming back for a second season. And Aldous is like, "Is she screaming?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, he pulls the phone away from his ear. He's like, "Is she screaming?" Yeah. And it like pans over to Christian, and Christian's just laughing his ass off.
Yeah, he's like so happy. He's like a little kid, and it's like covering his face.
I know.
And it's, like,
Cute.
this is the kind of role I've been like praying for at the edge of my bed since I was like 13 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was in,
Adorableness.
yeah.
I can't. Now I want to watch it. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, it's on my list to find the Leverage DVDs, so.
Mm.
I got gifted that for Christmas. Oh.
You say some of the behind the scenes stuff should be on YouTube, like
It
Anatomy
is.
of a Fight Scene. All the other stuff should be on.
Anatomy of a Fight Scene is on there.
He sours
Spoofer-
I might
Spoof
send
Bill's
you
on
some
there,
of the
too.
videos that we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of going to speed run this. Love the subtle character development. This is overall season stuff. Love the subtle character development. for everyone this season and watching them work as a unit. Love the subtle relationship building with Parker and Hardison. You know, it's subtle, but it's there, and I enjoy that. Sophie and Nate, interesting dynamic.
It's
I will
funny.
say. It is, but it's. I love the idea that like both of them can see the real version of the other one, and you know, there's that heartbreak you see from Sophie when she realizes that like she can't love this version of Nate because he's still too broken. But as we kind of get into in season 2, she's too broken herself to help him repair the pieces. So yeah. Yeah. Sorry, kind of skimming through. Love the brother relationship between Hardison and Elliot. And I really enjoy the formula. You know, writing's amazing, and having top caliber actors like this, I think it really helps because they make one facial expression and you can cut 10 lines of dialogue because of that one facial expression. And just the subtleties that they often do. And yeah. All right, so that's kind of the last notes that I have. Lex, do you have any overall season 1 notes?
No.
Anything you'd like to add?
I just loved the building of chemistry throughout each
Mhm.
episode until like this final one is like it's starting to weave together.
Yeah.
Not completely, but it's starting to.
I feel bad constantly because like Elliot's like you have Nate and Sophie being paired up and you have Hardison and Parker being paired up. And Elliot's just
And then
kind of
Elliot's
left
all by
out.
himself. Well,
Yeah.
he's a lone wolf.
Yeah.
Lone wolf, baby. Yeah.
I had
He
to.
is a lone wolf.
I had to. I mean, it's fitting.
It
But
is
yeah,
fitting.
it's not in the cards for him.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't think
He's
it is.
both of their protectors, basically.
Yeah, so he's basically like, huh? I got nothing else to do than protect these two. So that's what I gotta do.
As I said earlier, like that's his purpose.
Yep. He's okay. This is funny. He's
Huh.
basically what Eve is to Flynn for both of the couples.
Yes.
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 I just realized that.
Because Flynn and Eve bicker like an old married couple in the first episode.
Exactly.
Because they can't stand each other, but yet somehow
They work.
they work.
Yep.
Light bulb unlocked. Achievement unlocked.
Yes.
I don't. I really hope, though. I know this is like still redemption, but I really hope in season 3 of Redemption 1 we get one, which I think Dean said actually in the podcast that he hasn't heard anything yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility, but also
Yeah.
at the same time, not really.
Well,
Anything can
you
happen.
know, it's up in the air. It's up in the air, exactly, because like
Yeah.
it's the number 1 show on Amazon Freevee.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that obviously good. But yeah, I hope in season 3 though, like Elliot realizes that like even though he might not think he can be redeemed, he still like deserves love.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he
And
does.
I want it to be Parker and Hardison that show him.
Mm-hmm.
I want
Every day I want to just feel like I want to just shift myself into Leverage Redemption and say, You got your love right here. Just be like,
We love
wait till I get to that point in my redemption fic.
oh, you just killed Alex.
Because let's just say Kara's gonna be not very pleased with Elliot.
Oh, damn.
Of course not.
Okay.
Speaking of redemption fic,
What?
and in my TNG fic, there's a certain baddie from Natasha's realm that's going to come back with a vengeance. And Kay, you know who she is.
I think so. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. I
Could have made the popcorn.
All right.
It's basically the evil version of her OC comes back with a vengeance for my girl Mac. And Conrad doesn't have any of it. Neither does MacGyver. MacGyver and Conrad team up to try to protect Mackenzie. And it goes horribly wrong.
How that happened was I mentioned we were talking
It goes
about
horribly wrong.
a dark version of like Elliot and Kara because we were talking about like an AU where they still worked for Damien Moreau and what that would look like.
Yeah, this is basically just the one side of that AU. It's where Kai is still working for Moreau and is now going after Elliot's child again.
Yeah, that's separate thing. Okay,
it's good.
Katie, do you have any overall thoughts, feelings?
Honestly, I mean,
about season 1 of
it still feels like it's yesterday that I started watching the show, but it felt but it was like almost 2 years ago, and I'm like, I remember the first episode I watched with my dad, and we were like, "Oh shit!"
I remember.
It was literally almost 3 years ago when I first watched it for the first time.
I think it was almost
fell in love
3
with
for
it.
me too.
I was like,
the way that I discovered this show was looking up Christian from the librarians and finding that he was on Leverage. Like, I have to watch where this is, and I looked it up. And, like, binge watched the first season.
I think
like, I don't even actually remember how I heard about Leverage.
I fell in love with Christian on the librarians and then found him on Supernatural and then looked up his itinerary and found Leverage. I'm like,
I fell in love with him on Librarians, found him in Supernatural. It took me like a hot minute to recognize him. And I'm like,
I recognized his voice.
Look,
I recognized his voice. When he
it took
started
me a moment to
speaking.
recognize his face.
Yeah.
I'm like,
for me,
wait a gosh dang minute.
It took me a hot minute to recognize him on Supernatural.
Yeah.
And then when I did, I'm like, oh shit, I knew him. And I'm like, and it was just, I fell in love with him all over again.
Same.
And then I find out about Leverage, and I'm like, ooh, this sounds interesting. And then I clicked on it, and me and my dad are watching it, and then it's like history from then on.
Yeah. I think I started I was bored. I wanted something to watch because I knew Supernatural was coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted something that I could focus on once like Supernatural ended. So I found Leverage.
And the way that I found
it was
Supernatural
free.
was completely by accident. It was on TV and I'm like, oh, what the hell does
I had heard about it.
It's on
but yeah.
Netflix. Click. Binge. Literally, I binged the first 10 seasons in 3 months.
I found out about it by just reading the episode summary online twice. And it was the same 2 episode summaries. And then I find it on TNT and I'm like, oh, hit record. Next thing you know, I'm in the kitchen while it's on and recording. And I'm like, oh, I just watch it right now. And then I just fell in love.
Yeah, I found it on
But I had watched it-
after I found it on TV. I found it was on
Binge Leverage in like a
Netflix.
month.
Yeah.
I literally binged season 7, so I literally watched out of order. I watched like season 7 first, and then went back.
Yeah, I binged the original when it was on Electric Now, and I binged the first 4 seasons in 3 months.
Yeah, I think
and
I
then rewatch
watched
certain episodes.
Yeah, I watched season 1 of Leverage, I think, in like a week. But I specifically remember watching the first episode, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of like stylish and fun." But then I was also like attracted to the fact that like everyone was so good at their job. And then that motherfucker walked in with that rattlesnake smile and that Okie
The
charm.
eyes. The fucking eyes, man.
Beat the crap out of those 4 goons.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Rest is history.
oh, that oh, hell.
Same.
Like, that's who I was drawn to, was Elliot.
I was like, ooh.
But I also,
For me, it was like
Parker Hardison dynamic.
So, and I was like, ooh, he's smart, handsome, and can kick ass.
Yeah, that was me.
And I was practically drooling over him because I'm a history nerd.
Same.
And I was also that's why I ship Cassandra, Jake, and Cassie together because I love both of what they love.
I ship them together
Science,
too.
math,
I ship them
history,
together,
and
too.
art together.
Me. I shipped Ezekiel.
I know.
I'm just a mega just I don't know. I always go for the guy.
It was the librarians and the trial of one where he's holding onto her arm to get her to ground herself. I'm like, I want him to grab me like that.
All right, I could see that. I mean, I don't know why I always go for the
went
guys.
like this.
Every kind of
He
ship
grabs
that
her
I've ever
elbow
shipped
and
in my
I'm like,
life.
But I will say, I did get like the OT3 vibes. They're right off the bat. I will say,
the one where, and then the one where Zeke turns basically to a puppy.
yeah. True.
And Jake just has his phone. He's like, hey, go get it, and just throws it.
But I
I
remember.
want to know how many times they filmed that.
I don't
want to
They
know.
probably filmed that like thousands of times.
Yeah,
They
because
just
Christian couldn't keep a straight face. He was laughing so hard. I bet. Or he probably hit himself in the face with a tennis ball.
See, another
That'd be funny.
distinct memory I have is watching, like, going up to the 2-part finale, and was like, that's how it ends. And then I remember them like walking away, and then the cut to black. I was like, what? Like, did they get back together? Like, it like blew my mind. And then get into like season 2, I was like, I remember specifically watching like this Nate and Sophie like almost kiss and the 2 Live Crew Job, and I was like, oh my god. Like, and then like I loved seeing Sophie come back, and I like kind of laughed when Sophie slapped him. And then season 3 in like the studio job, I heard Christian
John
saying-
freaking Schneider.
well, I think I had seen in like the audio or like the it was the IMDb's profile.
I saw a
plot
clip.
summary.
Yeah,
where
I saw
somebody-
a clip of the fight scene between the 2 of them where he's messing with the mic stand and he flipped it and then he drops it. And then when he
heard it,
flips
like-
it again, he catches it and pushes him into the one of the goons into the drum kit.
Yeah, but as this
And then they face off against
Yeah.
each other, and I'm like, Boduk versus
Where's the
Elliot Spencer.
popcorn?
yeah.
And yes, John Schneider will forever be Boduk to me because I
Yeah.
have the freaking box set of the Dukes of Hazzard. And I had a crush on him when I was little. I still do. He's damn cute.
I also remember, well, not only did I remember Alona Tal, he played Kaylin as Joe on Supernatural, but
Yes.
when I
love her.
heard
She's so cute.
I heard Christian sing, and I was like, oh, I love his voice.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized, like, I think it was like the plot summary part of it was that like Christian Kane demonstrates one of his many talents. Because
Yeah, but
it also been
it
the
was
same thing for like
after.
Shahrazad. And
It
then I
was
started
actually
listening to
after
Christian
the
Kane speak.
Supernatural episode. It was after the Supernatural episode that I discovered that he had music. And then I discovered Thinking of You, and then I discovered the Leverage episode, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm dead.
And then like
I'm deceased.
I remember watching like The Big Bang Job, like that whole reveal scene, and like bawling because I was like, I hadn't seen a male character that vulnerable, especially with like a female character. He was not in like up to that point he hadn't really paired up Parker and Elliot. It was Parker and Hardison. That was the big thing. But to see that and just the look, I remember looking like, oh, that is saying like 1,000 words down on the page. And season 4, all that. And I was like genuinely scared for Elliot when he got the crap beat out of him in the carnival job. And the one thing I will always remember is the first time I watched The Long Goodbye Job. I had watched it and went through the roller coaster to bawling my eyes out. And then realizing that's marriage vows. And then going up to my mother's bedroom because I was so freaked out. Like I was so like hyper from that. Because like, I was telling her what happened with like how they had to like fake their deaths and like it was intense because like the whole episode makes you think like they're actually dead. But then it turns out they're not. And then Elliot said marriage vows. And like, I still get those feelings though. Every single time I rewatch the episode. Like, especially this episode, bringing it back to this episode. Even rewatching it for like the 10th time. I still get emotional hearing Nate admit to Maggie the truth. I still get that shock of watching the screen go black. Which is really a testament to how good Leverage is in general, is if you still get that same shock, that same feeling. That's like you're watching it for the first time every time you watch it. That's how you know it's good. Okay, we kind of rambled on quite a bit. So, Lex, do you have anything else you want to add before I start the outro? What?
On.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. That it just slipped out. I'm sorry. Do you have anything else you want to add, Lex?
Nope.
Katie, do you have anything else?
This was really fun.
It was.
It was a fun way to spend my birthday.
Yes. So, also, to Alex's request, since it is her birthday, I had let her pick the music. And Lex, for the outro music, chose Every Light by Radio Company. So, let's walk down.
Running every light that came upon them. They headed toward the place where he'd be born. Giving all the names that came before him. Destined for a life of being torn. So with everything everything inside. He stared out to the light and held his hands against the walls of time. He barely opened eyes and yelled out, "Oh, you may want me. I ain't ready to go."
Wait a damn minute.
Running every light that came upon them.
Was Jensen writing this song?
Tattoos along the way.
Was Jensen writing this song when he was also helping with the Winchesters?
Yep.
Listening with a background.
They both were.
Because think about the finale of the Winchesters.
He stared unto the night and roared, "We are to live forever. Never be told."
Like I literally just got spoiled by Alex himself that he was on the final episode, and I'm like, why?
Okay, I'll shut up about that to not spoil you. But
Curse you, Alex. Curse you, Alex Gilbert.
Running every light that came upon them. He proved his love with the pedal down to the floor. His love with the pedal down to the floor. And though she
I love that.
knew he was a wanted man, and always dreamed of having more. And when everything inside, he looked into her eyes and then he swore that it would all work out. Till the end of time, he promised, "Oh, you may not want me. I ain't
you ready to go? Dork. Jensen and Christian need to do a proper song together.
Yes, I keep on saying that. I also stand by this that Christian Kane should have been on Bones. Hands down, he should have been.
running every light came upon them.
Mhm.
Never seen it coming.
I want Jensen on season 3 of Redemption.
Facing the names that came
Mostly because what did you do? Lex, what did you do?
Look at Twitter.
What the heck?
everything inside. He stared up to the sky and searched for any sign of heaven. With a teardrop in his
What?
eye, and whispered, "Oh, you may want me. Oh, you may want me.
Yeah, you tagged Devlin and repeated. Did I miss something?
I ain't ready to go. I ain't ready to go."
Alright. Wait, is it there though?
Mm-hmm.
Cheater.
Cheater.
That's what I did.
Shit. There we go. Alright. So, now that that's done, they should probably go through the outro. So, I'd like to thank our parent company, NAPCO.org, our electrical consultants, West PA Systems. If you want to support the podcast and maybe invest in a soundboard for me, you could go on Ko-Fi and buy a coffee at Films and Fandoms. Yeah. You can go on my website, canlistentalacting.com. You could follow me on Twitter at MissMovieFan_67. You can follow me on TikTok at MovieFan_67. You can follow Alex on Instagram at Alex_the Alley Cat. And Twitter at Alex the Alley Cat. And on TikTok at Alex the Alley Cat as well. You can follow Katie on TikTok at Katie Kondrachi. The same thing on Instagram and MultiFandom11. You could also support our sister podcast, AFC East NAFCO, on Facebook. And also Mom Media Works. And I'd like to thank Perry for his
The
little
shenanigans
cameo.
earlier.
So next time you will see us, we are going to be talking The Librarians, Season 1, Episode 2, and The Sword and the Stone. We might need tissues. We might need tissues for that one. We'll need tissues. But then we'll be starting Season 2 of Leverage with the Beantown Bailout Job. I'm gonna laugh.
It's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm. It is gonna be fun. All right. Thank y'all for watching. Happy birthday, Alex.
Thank you. This was fun.
It was fun. All right. Let's do that next time.
She forgot to.